In Diablo 2, most people generally only learn about the core builds and are told to avoid things outside the norm, unless there's some quirky exploit they can use to make that build overpowered at one thing or another. This means that a lot of potential runewords are left ignored. Today we're going to look at one of those ignored runeword sets, and that is daggers. Initially, when I say dagger runewords, most people's minds likely go to the poison dagger necromancer, and while these are certainly viable options for that character, he is far from the only character who uses daggers. The most forgotten dagger user is probably the Amazon, who actually retains javelin frames for daggers since they're thrusting weapons, but she suffers a block speed penalty when using swinging weapons. That said, there are dagger flavors for each class. They're just not preferred as they don't really give too many benefits outside of being able to run around basically looking like a serial killer. As far as the runewords, each of these has their own special use case, so we'll start at the bottom and work our way up with Wind. The second most expensive one on the list was Sir and Eth. While it lacks anything that makes it overpowered, it does have a very nice mix of abilities, including run walk speed. It lets you close ground for extremely short range attacks, increase attack speed letting you stab quickly, not to mention target blinding, enhanced damage, reduced enemy defense, and hit recovery. Weirdly, the fact that the chance to cast as a tornado instead of Twister makes this weapon not quite as useful as one would hope, but it's still not bad, and it can still hold its own as a solid mid-tier dagger and can still stand in until you make something like an upped Spine Ripper. Next up is Venom, or what is unfortunately just an underpowered Black Bog Sharp. And funnily enough, Venom can only fit in the Crisp Blade bases, which Black Bog is the exceptionally unique in. Venom packs a bit of poison damage, mana leech, ignore target defense, and some monster flee, plus a few charges. For the runes Tal, Dole, and Maul. This runeword is easily on the top of my list of runewords that definitely need rebalancing, as I honestly wouldn't use it on most characters, even if it was given to me, since you can easily find plenty of as good or better rares for all of its potential weapon types, much less daggers. Though what I'd change on it is for another video. Strength is the next one on our list. Being the first truly cheap runeword at Am and Tier, this can go into pretty much any melee weapon, but is one of those mid-tier choices that actually justifies the idea of playing a Warrior Princess Daggers on. With Life Leech, Crushing Blow, and some stats, it's not going to win prizes, but it smooths out the journey of the Daggers on so much you'd be hard-pressed to find one that doesn't use this in the mid-levels, at least until they can get to Spine Rippers or Flesh Rippers. Malice is in a similar boat to Strength, cheap and effective, though I generally make it in a dagger only when I'm planning to use it on a low-level poison dagger necro, but it can be okay for other dagger variants at low level as well. This one is nice because it provides defense reductions to the target, as well as 100% bleed chance, and a pinch of damage boost, all for Ith, L, and Eth. As with most Malice uses, it's not going to be your endgame weapon, but it's also not going to be terrible, though you will need to get the Crisp Blade for it from a level 26 or higher enemy, meaning you cannot just shop for it since the Act 2 merchants cap at level 20. And finally, we have Fury. Super expensive, but oddly fun. Costing Jaw, Gull, and Eth, this is the runeword that can give at least Spine Ripper a run for its money with increased attack speed, decent enhanced damage, ignore target defense, life leech, open wounds, etc. It actually does okay in a Fang Knife, though you will need to repair it a lot. This one, however, is pretty much one of the options for consideration if you're looking to run a physical damage-based dagger build on any character. Now you may be wondering, why even cover these if they're second tier to uniques in so many cases? And that's because these actually do have a place whenever it comes to some of the stranger builds we, as a community, have forgotten over the years, and that I have a bit further down on the build list to show off. And I wanted to get this, as well as the upcoming Unique Daggers video, alive and well for when I do that to get them ready. That, and I feel like these esoteric weapons do deserve some love, with the only weapon that probably will not get a runeword video being orbs, and that is unless there's a desperate call by viewers or patrons for what would be the shortest runeword video of them all, with only 2 runewords.